Honorable Men Discord, NIGGA. Let's talk about it. So, the reason why I decided to talk about this word is because about 4 days ago, Dr. Umar Ifantunde was on the Sai Ari Not Sorry show. And one of the hosts, one of two hosts, decided to ask him a question about his thoughts on the word. Now, before I even get into that interview, it made me just do some research or some videos of the past and just to get some different takes on how people feel about the use of the word. So, one of the first things I want to cue up is The View. This is from 5 years ago. Actually says The Real Daytime. I'm sorry, it wasn't The View. Excuse me. So that was The Real Daytime. This was from 5 years ago, and I just want to play some of the takes on this word, the usage of this word. So before I even begin any further, I just have to say this. And a lot of you may or not be able to agree with what I'm about to say, but here it goes. I myself am guilty of using that word. Okay? I years ago put together an album and I definitely used that word within my lyrics. Now, that was then, this is now. And the reason why I say that is because with life, you got to stick around, you got to live a little, you got to have some experiences to make you develop, I should say, to make you grow, to help you grow, I should say. So years ago, I did use that within my material, but I could honestly say, thinking back at that time when I was creating my music, I think what would influence me most, and I could honestly say this, and this goes for me, I can't speak on any other artist. For me, I felt a sense of pressure to make sure that my music resonated with the masses. I remember some of my first recordings, I would play it for people, and rather than, it's similar in a sense to this content creation. And I don't want to digress, but I'm saying this. It's sort of similar to this channel and content creating. When I first started creating my own music, writing my own songs, rap music to be more specific, I remember playing it for some people. Some would have some good things to say about it, and others would mainly pinpoint the fact that the music seemed like it was too clean, like it was Christian rap. I used to get that term told to me often. Oh, it sounds like Christian rap, and I used to be confused. Christian rap? Why is it Christian rap? They're like, oh, you don't curse a lot, do you? Now, I don't have a specific individual in mind. This is many, many years ago when I first started writing my own lyrics. I must have been an early teen at that point. But I remember hearing that. Oh, it sounds like Christian rap. And I said, Christian rap? Why is it Christian rap? Oh, you don't curse much in your music. And then I started saying to myself, is that a prerequisite to this music thing? Cursing? And I say that to say this. We've taken that word, which was used by the oppressor, the ER version, because many people who try to justify the usage of this word like to say, well, we're not saying the ER version. We're saying the one that ends with an A. Hear me out. It's not empowering. All right? The usage of the word is not empowering. The usage of profanity is not empowering. It might feel good in the moment. You know, some people may feel like there's a time and a place for it. All right? Which is why on this show, The Real, what they were trying to, what they were speaking on was the fact that when the song plays, are certain are certain groups allowed to sing along or not? See, the problem I believe is that the word shouldn't be used at all, because when it comes time to, I guess, make it clear who and who can't speak on it, it's very confusing, right? And at the end of the day, it's not empowering. Going back to my childhood, when I would write music, if my music lacked profanity, it was almost as though it wasn't good enough. Now, in my natural state, I never used a lot of profanity. I just never did when I was younger, right? So then the substitute was, well, what else can I use to connect with my people? Because the culture of rap came from the Bronx, but it came from poor neighborhoods. It came from the minorities, the black minorities. So when I'm writing my music, I'm keeping that in mind. I'm keeping the comments that I received in mind. Oh, it sounds like Christian rap. I'm like, but that's not, I'm not writing it for a specific genre. It wasn't intended to be Christian rap. I'm just telling a story. But rather than some people listening to it and saying to themselves, "Oh, I like your rhymes," all they could care about is the ignorance, right? Oh, it sounds like Christian rap. You don't curse a lot. I've heard that several times. It's amazing that people, that's all they could care about with the music. Not whether or not it's a good song, is, oh, I notice you don't curse a lot. But it just shows the level of ignorance some of us have in general. But I want to continue with these different clips on people's opinion on the usage of the word. But here we go. This one is this one is just from, what is this? Parallel Perspectives. We have some I guess this guy's just asking someone randomly their thoughts on the use of the word. Let's get into it.
You think black people can say the N-word?
What? Yes?
Yes. What about Hispanics?
Yeah, my best friend's Spanish.
Yeah,
right?
she can say it.
Yeah, I don't care if she say it. She say it all the time.
What about white people?
Nah, no, I'm not
Nah.
that. Niggas say nigga anyway, so I can't stop nobody from saying nigga. Like, it's just, I'm not gonna try to stop nobody, but if they say, I'm gonna look at them like, who the fuck is you?
Should they get smacked in the face or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
You think black people can say the N-word?
I mean, I don't have much to say on that clip, honestly. I really don't have much to say on it other than the fact that the reason why I made it clear that I've used the term in my past is because I don't want to come off as judgmental in this particular episode, because at the end of the day, the person I am now looks back at what I did in the past and I shake my head like, what was I thinking? Why? But the only part that's okay with it all is the fact that I can look back at it and I realize that I've grown. So with that, I have to say, for those of you that are still using that word, I'm not here to judge you. Just think about when you say it, how is that empowering the person you're talking to? How is that empowering the person you're talking to? And how does it benefit you? As I mentioned in other videos, I think everything that we do should be intentional and it should be thought out. Oftentimes we really don't think about the things we do, and we don't even realize how influenced we are. You know, it's been a cliche about the music, and they say, oh, certain music puts you in a certain mood. And I remember when I was younger listening to certain types of rap music, because I've listened to it all. I remember my mother saying, oh, I don't want you listening to that. And I used to argue with her, oh, what's wrong with this? So, you know, it's just music. And she would always say, careful what you put in your mind. It festers subconsciously, and before you know it, it becomes a part of you. And you may not realize it. To you, it might just be, oh, it's just music. I'm just playing it on the way to work. It's just music. I'm just playing it to go make some errands. But these things, it becomes a part of your being without you realizing it. But here we go into the next video. This is actually from Vice TV, but it's a short clip, but a lot of interesting takes. One in particular, and I'm gonna pause it when I get to that one. Let's get into it.
Who's allowed to say the N-word? Honestly, not many people. People of color, I would think, you know?
Only black people are allowed to say the N-word. Point blank.
I don't have a problem with any other black people saying it. I just think, like, be conscious of how you say it and where you're using it in the context, and don't use the hard ER, because that's really bad.
And then the chuckle after she said that. We have a lot of psychological repairing that needs to be done. We have a lot of psychological repairing that needs to be done. If you disagree with me, by all means, see me in the comments, but it starts there. Before we can expect action out of those in our community, we need psychological repair. But let's continue. This is actually the gentleman that I appreciated what he had to say, his take on it.
Want people to ever forget that that was the last word that some black men or women would have heard before they were killed, before they were raped, before they were assaulted.
The word isn't what holds the power, it's the conditions that that word existed under that still perpetuates today.
The word doesn't have the power. Words always have power. First of all, why are we using that word if it's not a word of endearment? Words always have power. If I tell someone, great job, how does that make a person feel? If I say you're a horrible worker, how does that make a person feel? And I could go on and on and on and on and on. If I call someone beautiful, how does that make a person feel? If I call them ugly, how does that make a person feel? Why are we hanging on to that word? I'll be honest with you, I'm not in circles that even use the word often. So I'm not even sure if it's prevalent today, in today's time, as much as it was from years of the past. But even if I came across individuals that use the word, I would not associate with them. That would be a deal breaker for me. Heavy usage of that word is a deal breaker for me. But again, the reason for this topic is because I came across a Dr. Umar interview on the Cy Ari Not So Sorry show. And this was from 4 days ago. And before I actually play that clip, because I enjoyed Dr. Umar's response, and another disclaimer, this is a disclaimer of mine, there is no individual on this earth that I completely and wholeheartedly agree with. There's going to be individuals that certain things that they say I agree with, and other things I disagree. All right? And I'm not saying that only because I'm about to play a Dr. Umar clip, but I just say that in general because I think people sometimes when you put out material, they feel as though like, oh, if you post certain individuals, you're this or you're that. That's not the case with me. But before I play this clip from Dr. Umar, I found a clip from the minister Louis Farrakhan.
Some are saying it's taking the word back, the N-word. We're taking the word back and we're using it the way we want it. We're going to make it a term of endearment.
And you're so stupid to take a word that means your degradation and try to claim that you're using it for some uplifting purpose. If you use it for an uplifting purpose, why is the murder rate so high in the black community? Why are the funeral parlors filled with black men who call each other in? No. If you change the language, you change the pattern of a man's thought. If I call you brother, I soon will want to Recognize your flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood, bone of my bone. If I hurt my brother, I'm hurting myself. But if you're in a gang, you don't see the other gang member as your brother. He's not wearing the right color, not showing the right signs, so kill him.
You're saying taking back that word, that hogwash.
You can try to put pretty face on a gargoyle, but it is what it is. The word is a degrading term, and we who use it in a degrading manner. It's not a love term, because if it were love, the black community would not suffer what it is suffering from black on black violence, black on black crime.
That was the minister. All right, let's get straight to it. Let's get to the source of why I created this episode. All right, again, this is from the Cy Ari Not So Sorry show. And this is about a little bit after 1:04. I encourage you all to check out the full episode, which I did. But this one stood out because of the host asking the question, and because the host seems as though he had an attachment to the word. Like it was kind of, it seems like he respected what Dr. Umar had to say, but he had an attachment to the word, and it's almost though he didn't want to let go of it. But let's get into it. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Be honest.
Yeah.
A lot of our people would run away from it.
Yeah.
They would run away from it. They say, you know what, I can't keep listening to this.
Right.
You know, he keep giving me statistics. And
Right.
It's coming up soon.
66 million on Christmas without a hospital.
Right.
I can't take this.
Right.
You right?
Yeah.
So I got to put the humor in there.
Yeah.
To make it more digestible, right?
Show you still want
You know
us.
what I mean? You get a baby that almond milk is kind of nasty. You got to put a drop of honey in there.
Yeah,
but they're not
yeah.
going to drink it. So the comedy is intentional to make a very rough message more digestible to the people. You know?
Nah, it's classic, man.
Yeah.
But before we move all the way forward, I wanted to ask you, because I said the N-word a couple of times and it hit you. And I already had a couple of things I wanted to ask you about this. Why shouldn't I and the people I move around with say nigga?
I gotta ask the question with a question. Okay. Why are we the only race in human history that has decided to hold on to, rather than discard, the most pejorative term ever used in world history to dehumanize, malign, and disrespect an entire people? Why didn't we throw it into the ash can of history like every other race has done with the pejorative terms used for them?
Okay.
Why?
You asking me?
I'm asking you. Why do we hold on? We the only people who've ever done it. You don't see the Chinese hold on to the words. You don't see the Latinos hold on to the words.
They don't hold on to web.
You don't see the Europeans hold on to the. You understand? We're the only ones who will fight for the right to use a word that the slave master invented.
Got you.
To dehumanize our ancestors.
Now I know you about whatever I answer. You're gonna be skilled enough to chew me on this, but I'm just gonna I'm gonna answer this not to be right. I'm gonna answer this as
I got you.
The motherfucker coming outside they building saying it. I'm gonna tell you where I think it became cool and why we still continue it. And I know you're gonna cook me on this, but do your thing. Blacks, out of all those people you name, we are the most creative. We are the most make something out of nothing. And we're not saying nigger, we're saying nigga. And I'm not saying we should have did this. We did find some way to make it. Hold on. We found a way to. We're saying nigga, by the way. We're saying N-I-G-A. You know this. We have found a way to take it back and make it. Now, if we gonna get called this, we gonna make this cool and call this and say it on some cool shit. In the culture, it's not.
You know, I wanted to play it without stopping, and forgive me for having the cursor going across the screen, but when he said what he said, it really bothered me, you know, and I don't want to disrespect him. I don't know the brother, you know, and I'm all for supporting other people's platform, you know, as I expect that to be done to my platform. But don't tell me that we're creative and that's a creation that we should be proud of. Remixing a word that was used to tear us down. And again, I've used it. So I'm not here to judge. The new version of myself, the version that has grown when hearing his remark about us being creative and we created it to make it cool, it really bothered me. Had I heard this maybe years ago, it wouldn't have bothered me as much. But it's. I feel the same way about the um the whole bad bitch term, because you have women, some women, not all women. You have some women that are glorifying that term, but then if it's good when I'm using it, but then if the abuser is calling me that in the heat of an argument, how dare he call me that? But then you're running around calling yourself a bad B. It's very, we have so much psychological damage. It's it's unbelievable. We need to recognize it and work on repairing ourselves. But let's get back into it.
And so it's not saying hey slave. It's saying my nigga, and we did take it. Okay, this is one of the most hurtful words. Let's flip it, reword it, reslang it, and then now it's ours. Let's take it from them. Don't kill me on that.
I got you.
But that's why we're barking it though.
So let me ask you a question.
Okay,
We
double
took
question
it,
before the
we
answer.
remixed it and we made it pop.
Listen to Dr. Umar on this one. This was a perfect example he's about to give.
You have children.
Yeah, I got 2 kids.
Have they graduated high school yet?
No, one is 13, one is 6. Son, daughter.
Son and daughter. When your prince and princess get to 12th grade, it's time to graduate. Cap, gown, they're about to walk across the stage.
Okay.
Instead of their high school calling them scholars, they're going to call them niggas. This is graduation day. You're in the audience. The next nigga getting their diploma is XYZ. The next nigga getting their diploma is XYZ.
Okay.
Is that acceptable to you?
The time and place for everything.
No. Is that acceptable to you?
Well, no, but I'm not gonna do everything.
Wait.
Hold on. No, it's not. No,
Okay,
it's not.
why?
No, it's not even that. It's not that it's not. It's not an acceptable thing to me. It's just like it's a time and place for everything. It's like
Okay, but
it's
you
things
said
I
we
do in my
took it.
yeah, but it's things I do in my grandmother's house that I would.
Understand, but we talking about a word though, not what you do with your grandma. How we talking about a word? You said we took the word.
I would like it.
You said we took the word and we
Okay.
made it positive.
Okay.
So why can't they call your daughter a nigga when she get her high school diploma? I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Because no matter how many times we take that word and try to clean it up, the original stench, the original intent, the original energy, the original meaning will always be with it. That's why you don't want your daughter being called the
You're
N-word.
saying the roots of it. The roots of niggas.
Always. Always.
Okay.
You can never separate anything from the roots.
That's true.
And this is how you know we are not ready for psychological liberation. Forget economic liberation.
Okay.
Forget cultural liberation. Forget
He's cooking.
militaristic liberation. We're not even ready for psychological liberation. As long as there's black people using that word and are comfortable being referred to by that word, we still in psychological slavery. 21st century slaves.
So you can't stand that word.
I can't stand it.
You don't let nobody refer to you as that.
No, sir.
Do you
And
check?
none of us should.
I'm saying you check them immediately. Like, what's up, my nigga? If they do that,
Yeah,
like
respectful.
The host almost said that as though, like, you sure you're not gonna let somebody say that to you? It's almost as though he's in disbelief that Dr. Umar is standing behind what he just said. He doesn't want to be be referred to by that word. Let me see.
You disagree?
Because the young people still do it. So
No,
I
you
gotta
did it. You
educate.
did it. I didn't feel disrespected when you was like, yo, we gotta chill with that.
Right.
You do a good job of communicating.
Yeah, you gotta be respectful. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be respectful.
Has a white dude ever called you the N word?
Nah.
Directly?
Nah.
And if they, I'm not saying say some wild. I'm saying if that does happen, if they say it in a cool way or a racist way, what will be your response?
How can a Caucasian
let me react. Let
call
me
me the N word?
Well, because we've seen rappers even like Tyler the Creator and even Kanye West, like other people have said like when they're like white fans are rapping their songs, like in the audience they'll say it or whatever, and like they don't look at, like Tyler the Creator said, he don't view it in a negative light when that's like happening or whatever.
I saw two artists. People send me clips of stuff. Somebody sent me a clip of DMX who's one of my favorite artists of all time.
Oh, yeah, my niggas concert.
And he was at Woodstock.
Yeah, Woodstock.
And he had the white people rapping my nigga and all that.
Yeah.
As much as I love DMX, DMX, rest in peace. You are old. When I get up there with you, I got 1,000 lashes for that ass. And I don't know if it was Tyler the Creator. It was another artist who was at a real big white concert, and he had him rapping the N-word too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it there. By all means, after watching this episode, head over to the Cy Ari Not Sorry show and watch that full interview if you have time. It looks like, actually, it was 2 hours. It was a 2-hour interview. But again, that was about an hour and 4 minutes into that interview where one of the two hosts asked that question to Dr. Umar about the usage of the word Nigga. But I don't know what else to say besides the fact that it's not empowering. And if you're still using that word, ask yourself why you're using that word, what may have influenced you to use that word, in what way are you using the word, and if you're using it towards someone, how is that empowering that person? I'm not, again, this is just to spark the mind and get people talking and thinking about things that we do, because that's part of the step of being more intentional on making changes to better yourself. And before we could collectively better ourselves as a community, we have to work on ourselves as individuals. And I personally am done with that word. It's a cringe word for me. When it's said in my presence, it's a cringe word. Now, yeah, it's just a cringe word. And it's difficult. I'll be honest with you, it's difficult because one of the things about hip hop, and this is just going back, speaking shortly on the past and when I was creating music, the music itself, the instrumental, the rhythm, you get caught up in that rhythm. It's almost like hypnosis. So you're hearing that beat, and a lot of these artists are super talented. So this is not to say that a lot of the artists that use the word are not talented. Some of them are extremely talented. One of which, Nas. Nas is my favorite rap artist. Now, has he used it? I believe he's used it before. I don't know how often he's used it, but I'm using Nas as an example. You get caught up in the culture, in the music, and you find yourself, for me, I'm speaking on myself, I don't know about other artists. As I'm writing, I incorporated that word, right? And I incorporated profanity because, again, it's what I heard. And from feedback, the feedback led me to using it more times than not. But just think about the things that you do and why you do it. That's the best advice I can give as an older statesman. Again, I'm not here to judge because I was there once also. I was using it. But at this point in time, as you get older in life, the older you get, the different environments you place yourself in, the different environments that you want to place yourself in, it's going to require a different version of yourself. Anything that you want in this life takes work. If you're striving for peace and a better version of yourself, you're going to have to change from within before you could change from without. And sometimes you're going to have to change your circle also. That's just a hard truth. And that circle may include family members. Now, it's not just about friends. It's going to include family members also. It's a tough truth that not all of us are willing to deal with, but it's the truth. Sometimes the reason why we don't grow is because we stay in those same circles. And not all circles were meant for you to keep all the way through your adult life until the grave. Sometimes we keep circles just because, this person knew me since kindergarten. But has that person grown, or has that person stayed with the same mentality that's not positive, or a mentality that doesn't feed your growth. Just things to think about. But as always, I appreciate everyone for tuning into my content. Like, share, subscribe, and by all means, check out that episode. It's episode 26 from the Sai Ari Not Sorry show, featuring Dr. Umar Ifantunde. Take care.